In this video, I'm going to be reviewing this and this guy over here, which have different aspects to it, but the major thing that they have in common is that they're using the clipping mask, which is when you create shapes and then you sort of stick them into another shape. So this could have been a circle, or as you can sort of see with this blue highlighted outline, brushes. And over here you can see there were sort of those star shapes we were working with earlier. But they're all hidden in a clipping mask. So let's get to it. So first what I want to do is sort of create what I have going on over here. It's not going to look exactly the same, but I'll give you a general idea of it. So let's do something, creating more of a background understanding. Let's make it bright, and then let's do some fun stars. Now remember, I clicked and drag. I'm using my up and down arrow keys to add more or less points. And then I'm going to hold down Option and just create some fun things going on. Now, this isn't the color that I want, so I'm going to come back over here and we'll just do this nice bright yellow. And then I'm going to hold down Option and Command, click and drag, get something like that. Now if I wanted these two things, let's say it was a little bit more cockeyed like this, if I wanted these two things to be aligned perfectly, I'm going to go and use my Align tool. Amazingly helpful tool, and there's a bunch of ways you can go about it. So I'm going to click on both of these, and I highlighted both of them. I'm going to come over here to my Align. Remember, if you cannot find anything over here or something you're looking for that should be over there, we'll say your gradients or your characters or anything, always go to Window, and most likely it will be hidden in here, or maybe it's over here and you just didn't realize it. But go to Window and see what you have down there. Now, just so you know, you're not going to see character appear because character is a type property, and you can see type is one of the only ones with an arrow, which means that there's more content to it. So you can come over here and you can clearly see there's character. Just a little insight there for you. I'm going to come back over here, and there's different ways we can work with this, but for right now, all I want to do is make sure that they're both vertically aligned centered. I'm going to double click on that, and there you go. And then I'm just going to click and drag them down a little bit to get them where I want to. So I sort of like this shape, but I need these end pieces cut off, and I want it in a circle. So I'm going to come back over here to my ellipse. I'm going to do a perfect circle, so holding down Shift. And it doesn't really matter the color, but if you want to see what it sort of looks like, you can switch this to your stroke and sort of get an idea that if this was cut off, this is what this would look like. And let's switch that stroke color so you can see it even better. So I'm going to change this to green. I'm just going to come up here, and I'm going to change this in just a minute, but this is what it will look like once we have a clipping mask in there. So change that, switch that back. Again, the green does not matter because you will not see the green. How this works is that whatever you need to be in the shape needs to be on the bottom. So the shape you want it to be in, so I want it to be in a circle, needs to be on the top, and you can see my other three shapes are at the bottom of that. I'm going to now click and drag over everything, and you can see everything's highlighted because it's all outlined in blue. And another insider tip here is, why is it in blue? And what if you have another color? Maybe you have yellow, maybe you have pink. It's just the layer color that you have. So if I come over to layer, we're just working on one layer, but if I add more layers, it will change different colors. The outline will. So just a little heads up there. Okay, and you can see if I go down, all of these different points are all my different shapes. Okay. So I have this, and the next thing to do is do Command 7. And there we go. And you can see it's all trapped in there nice and tight. Now another way I could do that, I'm just going back a few steps here. I have this all ready. I'm going to come up to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. I just gave a hotkey, and then here are other things that you can do. So we'll release it in a minute. So, and you can see if I click on it in certain ways, the shape will come up. But again, the shape will be hidden. So I'm just going to select this again. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to edit the contents, which means it will keep it in that shape. But if I double click on it, you can see here it goes from layer to clip group. That means I can then change that. So I have this highlighted. So maybe I'm like, I don't really want that yellow. I want to change that to blue. Unclick, and there you go. So I didn't have to release the clipping mask at all. All I had to do was edit the contents. So object, clipping mask, edit contents. And unfortunately, I don't think there's any real hotkey for that I've found out as of yet. So I'm going to change it again. I'm going to double click. So it's just on here. And let's change this to that nice bright color. And there we go. So that's a really cool way to do that. Now let's just say I don't really like it's clipped. I'm going to try a different way. Let's just get rid of this and edit it another way. So we're just going to clipping mask and release. And there we go. There's all my things back, and there's even the clipping mask here, which, just so you know, it doesn't have any colors with it, but I can easily make it a color. So if it's a unique shape that you're working with and not just one that I can just really pull right off the rack, it will save. Just make sure to fill it with a color so you know that it's there. Alright, so there's all the individual shapes, and here it is in the clipping mask. Now again, just remember the hotkey for that is Command 7, really nice hotkey. And if not, go to clipping mask under object. Alright, so now I'm going to show you the same principle, clipping mask, but I'm going to show you just the little bit about brushes with this. So I'm going to have another background, just nice and big. We'll keep it green, that's fine. I'm going to come over to my brushes. Right down here looks like a little cup and it has brushes in it. And you can see that some of them are default already in there. But I want more. So whenever you want more options, you're going to have 4 little bars lined up in a stack. It almost looks like a little stack of pancakes. You can go new brush. We can create our own brushes. Or we can go to Open Brush Library, and there's a slew of options for you. I'm not saying they're the best, but they're there, and some of them are quite nice. So especially the artistic ones. And a lot of these you can take and then you can reformat to create in a more unique manner. So let's just do artistic, and let's just do ink. Again, it might not look exactly like this one, but it's the same principle. So let's see here. We'll take this, and what this does, as soon as you hit that, it automatically goes into your brushes palette, which is kind of nice. And then if you don't want that, all you have to do is click and delete one. Alright, so I want to make sure I'm off this. This isn't selected. It doesn't have a blue rim, and the reason again why it doesn't have, it has a blue rim is because it's on layer 1, and layer 1 usually starts off as blue. So dry ink 1, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to choose a different color so we can all see it. There we go. I'm going to make sure I come over here to my brushes, which is right up here. So these can sometimes be formatted differently, but it's usually going to be on the 5th one down, or you can go B for brush. Now the thing here is that, and I hope you caught that, when I go back a step, my green, a brush is a stroke. It will transform itself into a stroke, and it's not a full fill-in color. So if I wanted it this sort of pink salmon color, I had to switch that and knock out that green, okay? So now let's do that again, and there we go. So we get some nice swishies here, some fun stuff. Remember, if I come up here, I can work with how thick I want that. So it can get really funkified very quickly, but it's also really fun. And then let's say I want to put it in a triangle like I have over there of my example. We're going to go to the star, and I'm going to go on my down arrow key and make that nice triangle. We're going to fill in that triangle with another color so we can all see the separation. Then maybe this is the funky sort of feel I want. So I'm going to come up here, make sure everything's selected, and then do Command 7. There we go. And I forgot one, but that's okay. And so that's how we do this sort of version with working with shapes, and then this with working with brushes.